basic training, that was it. Part of the training was apparently to to prepare your bed in a very specific way. That is, to have your blankets neatly folded, piled on top of each other, your socks neatly titivated, I think it's the nearest word I can get to that. Your boots, this was the killer. Your boots were not only on show, but they had to be reversed and the studs polished. So your boots were upside down on the bed with the studs showing and each one polished. Toothbrush, comb, hairbrush, the whole lot had to be laid out in this way. Then you had to stand to attention at the end of your bed, and the orderly officer, the sergeant major, etc., came along inspecting. It happened it happened every day. And what happened was that the sergeant major or somebody would find something exceedingly trivial. One of the studs on your boot wasn't polished sufficiently, or one sock was not folded in the authorised way. And it struck me that they were going to find something, whatever, they had to find something to tell you off about. I don't know why. It's the army, I suppose. So I decided that I wasn't going to take part in this anymore, and that I would be discovered in an ordinary, as a soldier after a night out on the tiles, on the booze, would be discovered. So this particular morning, when they came round, everybody else was, had a neatly laid out beds and whatnot. I was standing there at attention, but I was still in bed. Not only that, my stuff was sort of scattered around the place very untidily. I had drunk too much, and I don't know what had happened in the night. I'd either thrown up or something, and it had dried off, and my face was stuck to the blanket underneath. And even if I'd wanted to spring up to attention, I couldn't have done, because I would have pulled half my face off. That's what it felt like anyway. I sort of twitched, started moving when the orderly officer and the sergeant major came round. I thought I'd opened an eye or something. Anyway, they came, found the usual trivial things wrong with everybody's stuff, and they just walked straight past my bed. They said nothing. The officer said nothing. The sergeant said nothing. And I thought, hey, this is fun. I've got away with it. They didn't notice until, of course, after they'd all gone, the sergeant major came back and he said, you wanted in the where was it? In the MI room. I think it's called the MI room, medical inspection room, to see a doctor. And he said, I'm going to send you to Dr. somebody or other that I've forgotten where it was anyway. He turned out to be a psychiatrist. He asked me various questions, about my mother and my brothers. And did I hate this? Did I like that? How do I like the army? Anyway, it transpired that he thought I was suffering from, I don't know what it's called nowadays. It used to be called manic depression. You used to have highs and lows and that sort of thing. It's called something else now, it's something stupid. And that was about the last I heard of it, except that I was sent from there. I knew I'd got away with it when I was sent to what the hell was it called? Anyway, it was a selection board. Not only was I not going to be, put in the deepest dungeon in the British Army, I was going to be promoted. So the lesson there was, if you're going to break the rules, do it in a big way. And so that it's funny that I read about a general, Ord Wingate, the leader of the Chindits, who was the general, and apparently he was always doing things. He said that was what he said. If you're going to break the rules, break them in a big way. I mean, he got to be leader of the Chindits by being completely impossible to contain within the ordinary ranks. He was so over the top, so out of this world that they had to send him to Burma just to get rid of him. I mean, I only knew that later. I hadn't read him, I read any of his stuff. I just thought, sod this, I may as well be in jail, I'll do this every morning. But that's the last I heard of it.
But you got promoted, didn't you?
Yeah.
You went up above.
Oh, yes.
Other people who'd been there longer.
Oh, yes. I was put in the education department. The lowest rank in the education then was sergeant. Wonderful.
And when you were asked questions by the psychoanalyst, but you'd read enough stuff to sort of know what lines he was working along.
Oh, I knew what he was trying to get me to say, but he gave me I think it's called the Rorschach test or something. I've forgotten the exact word. It's examining
Rorschach, yeah.
pictures, yes. And I thought, well, if I think if it looks like a butterfly, say it's a moth. I thought, do it all wrong. And he just diagnosed me as manic depressive because I got all these things wrong, all these nice sunny things. I thought they were visions of hell, And it was convincing enough. It kept me out of trouble for quite a long time. Don't know if they ever rumbled me. Anyway, I got promoted. I don't know how. I wouldn't recommend it to anybody else unless they're very good actors or very desperate.